I'm here to talk to you this morning just about the Bays Promenade and the waterfront opportunities that exist in the Bays. I hope you've all had an opportunity to walk through and have a look at some of the displays, and I hope you've been able to pick up the discussion paper that we have. Obviously, this is one of the priority projects for the Bays project. And also, just while you're there, if you've got any questions along the way, there's a number of team members out in the audience with their orange hats on and orange lanyards. Grab them, have a chat to them, and we'll have a quick Q&A and questions over at the discussion table after my very brief talk. The ambition for the Bays. Obviously, as part of the Bays Promenade, we're looking at the ambition for the Bays as a whole. You may well have picked it up along the way, but one of the components obviously is to make sure that Sydney retains its international competitiveness, its global standing. It's very important from a perspective for Sydney to maintain that, to maintain the growth and prosperity of Sydney. Thank you. In saying that, there's obviously a number of objectives for the whole of the Bays precinct that we've looked at. The first one, knowledge-based jobs, building off the industries that Sydney's known for, building through that process of saying, well, what can we provide for the economics of Sydney, and how do we grow that with jobs? Undoubtedly, one of our objectives is the socially inclusive, great places, great spaces, doing this for the people of Sydney, doing the process so as that Sydney gets the benefit through its people. Housing choices, affordable housing. We all recognise that as part of our process, we need to change our housing. We need to look at some of the affordable housing options we have there. And what exists in Sydney needs to be developed and changed. Finally, the final two, mass transit. Without the mass transit for the Bays precinct as a whole, the Bays precinct itself, as we can appreciate, will come to a halt. Sorry for the pun, but we'll come to that screaming halt that we need to work through. We'll be working through with our agencies, our partners in transport and our partners at RMS to go through and work out how we ensure that the multimodal transport system and mobility system is created. And finally, obviously, we're looking for building excellence, not just in architectural, but in carbon footprint, star ratings and the likes. And not just about physical buildings itself. I'm talking about landscaping, paths. Now, can we do what's occurring over in Europe at the moment, where they're actually putting solar panels into paths to light the paths themselves? The objective for the Bays Waterfront Promenade: to provide a continuous staged waterfront promenade from Balmain through to Pyrmont, connecting it back into the CBD. We all know at the moment we can walk from the CBD or Woolloomooloo through to Pyrmont, and we get to the Glebe Island Bridge, and we get to an impasse. We then get pushed back onto the road and around the traps, all the way past the back of the fish markets. What we're looking to do is, and it'll take us time, it's not something we're going to do tomorrow, but we're looking to make that connection from the Glebe Island Bridge all the way back around, all the way to Balmain. It won't come without its problems or its difficulties and hurdles. We'll have to work with our agencies. There's a lot of industry that exists out there, and very important industry, whether it's the active port that we have in Glebe Island and White Bay, or whether it's the working harbour that exists in Roseville Bay. We'll be looking at how we can interact with those stakeholders to ensure that we have a promenade that is accessible to the public but maintains the commercial viabilities of those enterprises now and in the future. We don't know what's going to be needed in the future. We're looking at what we can do now to ensure that flexibility is maintained for the future, but provide for today as well. And obviously, in the backdrop of this photo, you'll see White Bay Power Station, the iconic building. Simon will go into Julian will go into a little bit more detail on White Bay Power Station, but obviously opening those focal points up to the community via the promenade will be very important to us. The promenade itself. As you can appreciate, we have a number of different landowners, number of different leaseholders and a number of different stakeholders in the area. We've got our, the City of Sydney Leichhardt Council, we've got our community representatives, we've got our community, local community. We've also got the wider community. We've also got existing leaseholders at the head of Blackwater Bay, the fish markets, private owners, working harbour. Working with them will require a significant amount of work, and we may need to look at temporary solutions. We may need to look at temporary pontoons over the water until we can get a more permanent solution. But providing that access as a priority for us is a driver. We're looking to start the promenade in that priority area, the dashed area, in this year. The fish markets itself, iconic site. It needs a little bit of TLC. It is, however, and Simon will go through it a little bit more, it's the third most visited fish markets in the world. It's currently a focal point. It's a start and stop. People come in and leave. How do we connect that and knit that back into the promenade? How do we connect that and knit that back into the area surrounding it? Wentworth Park, Pyrmont, Glebe, and the likes. How does someone from Lilyfield gain access to it easier rather than having to go through the rigours of going all the way around before being able to get directly to and enjoying the experience of getting there? Yes, the promenade won't only be for recreation. We're also looking for the purpose of commuter access. It'll be part of our transport mobility plan. We'll look at how we'll be able to integrate the promenade and the boardwalk so as that we can have people actually commute along it, whether they're walking or riding to work, whether they're walking or riding and just recreating and enjoying themselves, but also whether they're just maintaining health. Let's get more active and let's see whether we can't make this part of that link. I don't know whether you've had the opportunity to look at some of the iconic international examples we've displayed earlier on in the exhibition, but as part of the promenade, what we'd like to make this as, we'd like to see it as one of the world-class visitor destinations. A little bit like the High Line in New York, so people actually visit it. So as they come along and they say, well, I'm going to go to Sydney, I'm going to see the Opera House, I'm going to see the Harbour Bridge, I'm going to walk along the Bay's Promenade because of the actual opportunities that exist to have cafes, restaurants, and the experience of our harbour. And if you've travelled, the experience of the harbour is one of the most beautiful things and one of our greatest assets. Unfortunately, we focus too much on the land. We don't focus on the connection with the water and the relationship between the land and the water. And as part of the Bay's Promenade and the waterfront access, we'll be looking at how we can enhance that and maintain that relationship. Currently, yes, we use it for dragon boats, we use it for super yacht marinas, we use it for rowing, but how can we improve that and make it better? Can I grab the question in a minute? And Sydney Heritage Fleet, no doubt. We use it in enhancing that and benefiting and getting Sydney to benefit from it, improve from it. We'd like to think that people, we can go back in years where people used to swim out of it. And let's see whether we can't take that to the next step. Let's see whether we can't get that. And I've seen some notes on the board, the harbour pool. There's records of Olympic swimmers training in Roselle Bay, swimming against the discharge out of the power station. How do we enhance that and improve that? As I said, the immediate priority is between Pyrmont and Glebe. As you note from these focus points, and I don't know whether you've had an opportunity to have a look at them in the previous Area 1, but this project is about public realm. It's about public benefit. It's about obtaining the best outcome for Sydney. Yes, there's some employment around that fish markets, around some of the meanwhiles, the pop-ups that we could have, so people can experience the walk. They can enjoy, as they walk along, I'm going to stop, have a drink, I'm going to stop, get a coffee, and I'm going to continue on my way from the Opera House, through the rocks, into the fish markets and along. One moment, just so as I can... I'm right there, that's why I... Look, in summary, the Bay's Promenade and the Waterfront Promenade is a priority project for the Bay's Precinct. it's a priority for us from Pyrmont through to Balmain. It's going to take us time. We're going to be working with yourselves and a number of stakeholders. The priority at the moment is from Pyrmont through to Glebe. And as I said earlier, we're looking to start that this year. We'd love some of your thoughts, some of your ideas. I know my colleague Simon will probably be kicking off in about 10 minutes over in the Bays Market District, and he'll talk a little bit about how our promenade will integrate with that. In the meantime, if I can grab anyone who wants to have a chat to me, I'll be over at the table there, or anyone in the office, any of my colleagues in orange hats, come along and grab us. But we'd love to hear your ideas and thoughts, and please feel free to add some notes and details to the board as well. Thank you very much.